If there were a FISA request made, and the reports that were out there that maybe Donald Trump saw, but maybe he has more evidence too, said that they went for one in October, or whenever they went turned down, then they got another one in October. Can we find that out? I mean, are we going to, in the previous program, we're going to air this in a little while again, Larry Klayman said he's already going to court to try to get the FISA records. How hard is that?
It's hard. I mean, Larry's going to have a tough time. I mean, I'm not saying it's not worth a try, but there is a privilege that exists on those. And FISA proceedings, as you know, are basically in camera. They are private. They are almost secretive. But let me tell you who does know, and that is the executive, and that means the president. So the president would have knowledge of a FISA warrant, who it was issued to and against, and what information was received. Now, we know from media reports that there were multiple attempts at a FISA. The first time was deemed too broad. The second time, maybe not so broad. The third time, they finally got it. And what they got, we don't know. We don't know the scope of that warrant. But here's what we do know, Steve. We do know that information is being leaked by those shadow operatives inside the government, which violates the Espionage Act, specifically 18 U.S.C. Section 793. There's disclosures going on. Now, the president, if he were to disclose this information, is not bound by that. So the executive has the authority to make that disclosure.
Now, does he have to just declassify it first?
Yeah. So, but people are getting this confused. I'm glad you asked it. You don't just wave your hand and there it goes. You have to issue a declassification order. It has to be, you know, you have to have your legal counsel review it because you want to make sure you're not disclosing something that would hurt the national security interests of the United States. Right. So the president may have all the data and still decide not to disclose it because there's information in there which could be damaging to the United States, and he may want to do that. He may not want to embarrass an agency because that agency, although he could be angry at them, is still trying to, you know, obtain important data. So there's a lot of moving parts with that, but I think what has become clear is that something has happened, and we know that Senator Coons, who made an accusation on Friday that, in fact, the Trump team, the campaign, was in, quote, collusion with the Russians. He then walks that back yesterday when our friend Chris Wallace from Fox News presses him on, and he says, no, I don't have evidence of any testimony or evidence between the Trump campaign and the Russians, no evidence of collusion. This tells you something is, you know, rotten in Denmark, so to speak.